Okay, it's a couple of minutes after. We'll get started now. Hello, everyone. And look, thanks for joining us for this Players First demonstration. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nick Thornton. I'm the General Manager of Empower Golf. I'd really like to express a warm welcome to each of you and thank you for taking a few moments to join us for an insight into player experience management through our partner Players First. We're joined today by Jacob Buxted, who's woken up nice and early in Denmark to introduce you to this product that is helping over 1,500 golf clubs globally. Jacob's the market director and co-founder of Players First. Now, what we find with so many forms of entertainment competing for attention spans, we feel as an industry, golf industry, we need to be better at retaining current members and recruiting new members or new fans. The key to this is to put the players first, the golfer first, listen to their feedback and adapt services to their needs. And as we know, satisfied golfers will not only help clubs increase revenue, but they'll help us to all continue to grow the game, which is very important. Today we're keeping the presentation at a higher level to give you an example of how you can get direct feedback from your members to not only give them a voice, but also to provide valuable insights to the management team and also the board to help drive strategy at the club. Sometimes in the golf industry, we don't want to ask questions of our customers or our members, but this is a perfect opportunity to do this. Everything you see today is a live example of Players First that are available to your business right now. And we really believe that the Players First platform will make a significant difference to your business and the ability for you to interact with your members. You'll see at the bottom of the screen that you're able to type questions to the Q&A button, or if you need to, in the chat button. Don't be shy, but we'll get to those questions at the end of the presentation. If we run out of time for any reason, I'll be sure to make sure the responses to the questions are shared with everyone here today. And we are recording this so that it can be made available again in the future. So let's get started. I'll hand over to Jacob now to take us through Players First. Jacob, over to you.
Thank you, Nick. And thank you for inviting here for me to do this presentation of Players First. And thank you all for participating. This is the landing page, so to speak, of Players First. And before I go to the results page, which are at these bottoms at the left, we have basically 4 surveys. That's a guest survey, the member survey, a survey for new members, and a survey for former members. And then there is a comment section and download section. But before I get to the results, I would like to show you the settings that we use to tailor the surveys for your specific conditions in your club. When you sign up for Players First via the Empower sign up page, you will be guided through a wizard where you will have to put in some basic information about the club. You have user administration. You can add as many users for the system as you would like to. We ask about courses. Do you have more than one course? You could put in here, yes, we have old course, new course, or whatever they are called. Some questions about the facilities. Do you have information boards on tees, and so on. So here you will be guided through a lot of questions, but it's really very easy and fast. It will take you 5, maximum 10 minutes. Then you are all ready to go, and you can export your surveys to see here. This is the questions that we are going to ask, in this case the members, but it could be all the other surveys that we are offering. You can, if you like, add prizes and draw winners for the different surveys. You can in here see this is how the invitation letters look like for guests and members. And you can by yourself send out the invitation to members or guests that you would like to join your surveys. And it's very easy. You should just simply copy a list from Excel with the email and name of the members, paste it in here, and then press send, and everything will be resent out. So these are the basic information and settings that are in Players First. And as I said, it will take you 5-10 minutes, and then you will be up and running and ready to send out surveys. So it's very easy to get started. Now I'll go to the results page, and I'll take you first to the member experience and show you that this is the view that you are having as a club when you are looking at the results from your surveys. So I'll click here at member experience. And what you see here is real results from a Danish club. In this case, we can see up here it's Club 11. It's just anonymized. We can see this is the member experience survey, and the results are from 2017. And we have a number of replies, 638. So this is the results you see here is based on 638 answers. Step by step here, I'll take you through these results. First of all, up here to the left, we have the Net Promoter Score. You are probably familiar with it and have been asked that question in surveys in other areas. That is the question, would you recommend the club to family, friends, and colleagues? I can click here on this tile, and it will take me to the Net Promoter subsite to show you how this is calculated. And the reason I'm doing that is because the Net Promoter Score is a very central customer metric, and it's very central for Players First as well. It is based on that one question, would you recommend the club? And if you're looking here to the right, how we calculate the Net Promoter Score is if you're answering 9 or 10 to the question, would you recommend the club? You are what we would call a promoter. And if you answer 7 or 8, you are passive. And if you are below 7, you are what we would refer to as a detractor. And the Net Promoter Score is simply taking 46 minus 22, giving us the 24 over here, meaning that the Net Promoter Score could go from minus 100 is if everybody is saying, no, I would not recommend the club, to 100 if all your members or guests are saying 9 or 10, yes, I would recommend the club. So this is how the Net Promoter Score is calculated. Here we have the first of two options that the club will have to benchmark itself against others. This is the ranking opportunity. I'll enlarge it here. In this case, this club is not doing that good. It's each of these columns here or bars are representing a club in Denmark. So here we have the results of 112 clubs, and this one is ranked 107 when it comes to the Net Promoter Score that correspond to bottom 4%. So in this case, the club can see that when it comes to Net Promoter Score, they are really in the bad end among the Danish clubs. We could also go down here to the left where we have different benchmark opportunities. There is a country that would be the benchmark for the whole Australia. In your case, it could be a region, and you could use SPLY. I'll get back to that. It stands for same period last year, and I'll get back to that. But if I activate country here, you can see now that we will have benchmark up here. The national benchmark in Denmark is 54. So this club is really doing not so good compared to benchmark. We can also see here in the development graph for the Net Promoter Score, I'll enlarge that as well. The orange is the club result. This club has been using Players First since 2014. So we can see here the development in the Net Promoter Score. And the gray one is the benchmark. So this is the development in the national Net Promoter Score in Denmark based on 112 clubs out of 180 clubs that we have in Denmark. So there are these two ways to benchmark yourself. It could be ranking, it could be the national benchmark where it's the average. And there's actually a fourth benchmark opportunity here. You can create your own benchmark where you select at least 3 clubs of your own choice, and that your benchmark will then be the average of these 3 clubs. So you can compare yourself to specific clubs that you think would be relevant for you to compare yourself against. Okay, I'll go back to the front page again by clicking here at the member. As you say, this is cloud-based, so every time I click here, it goes up to to Asia, which is the Microsoft Asia platform that we are using, and all results are updated online. So now moving to service areas here in this tile. Service areas are what we call all the areas that we ask questions. So within these areas, we ask questions about the club. And now the results here is based on a scale from 0 to 100, where the higher the score, the more satisfied are the members. Every question we ask, or many of the questions we ask, are based on a 10-point scale, where we have, for example, T boxes are good, and you can answer from a scale from 1 to 10 to totally disagree, totally agree, and we just transfer that 10-point scale into a 100-point scale to avoid commas and for other reasons. So these are more or less averages corresponding to a 10-point scale. So you could say this is approximately a 7.7 on a 10-point scale regarding the course. And now the course is the active results, it's orange. That also means that the development over here graph is reflecting the course. This is how the course has been evaluated since 2014. I can click here and you can see this development graph is updating, but also this ranking down here to the left is updating. So we could start by easily clicking here and see, are there anywhere where we at least are doing better than the last third? And it's very easy to see here, for example, here with the golf shop, that is ranked 36 out of 99, so better results than many of the other areas. So by clicking here, it's very easy for me to assess, are there any areas where we're doing particularly good or particularly bad compared to the other clubs in the country, in this case Australia. I could also see here the national benchmark here to the right. How are we doing compared to the national benchmark? And this club, as you saw, it was pretty much doing below benchmark on every area except for the golf shop, where it was a little bit above both the average or the national benchmark, but also in the ranking comes out okay. So the pro shop in this club is working well. I'll click the course again here because you might have seen that this box here also updated when I was going through the service areas. And this is how different groups in the club are evaluating the course in this case. So what we see here is, for example, that the females are more satisfied with the course, evaluating it at 80, compared to males where it's 76. And so you can see for other background variables as well. Here we see a totally normal distribution, or evaluating that the older you are, the more satisfied you are in general. And when it comes to the course, we also see this pattern very often, that the lower the handicap, the more dissatisfied or the more critical you are when it comes to the course. Not necessary for Clubhouse. If I click here, we see some tendency, but not as strong as when it's on the course. So here you can see how different groups are evaluating the course or the other service areas. As you can see here, it's updating. So now it's reflecting how these groups are evaluating the atmosphere at the club. Again, females more positive. They normally are. That's always normally see that females are 1, 2, or 3 points more positive than males, and that's not just within golf. That's a common thing within satisfaction surveys. One thing we can do is that if we would like to see the results for specific groups, I could click here, say now I would like to see my results for male only. So by clicking here at male, everything is updating. So now the results are showing male only. And you can see up here going from 600 and something, we're now down to 479 answers. And you can see here they're really below handicap when it comes to net promoter score compared to benchmark, because the benchmark is also now only for males. And you can see down here, atmosphere, they're ranked 111 out of 112, sorry. when it comes to males. And I can go on here as long as there are 5 answers. I can go further. I would say I would like to see males with this specific handicap. It could be ping here. So I'm clicking here now. Now everything is updating. So now we're looking at 119 answers, but that's only the group males with that handicap. And I can go on like this as long as there are 5 answers. So the platform, the dashboard is giving you the opportunity to go into very specific segments and see how are they evaluating the club, and the benchmark and ranking will follow the selection you have made here in the background variables. Now you can see we are down to 34 answers, so the group is relatively small now, but it's also a very specific group we are looking at. So you can again say, I would like to see this group, but only the ones that are playing at least 3 times per week. And now we only have, as you can see at the top, 8 answers. And now, for example, this one got blank, meaning that out of these 8, less than 5 has used instruction within the last year. So that's why there's no result here. So in that way, you can easily drill down to very specific groups, target groups that you might have in the club that you would like to do a specific effort for, and see how are they evaluating your club. Something that you can also see is that we are, based on the results, we are calculating the importance of each of the questions that we are asking in the survey. And that is what you can see on this list here to the right. So these are basically the top 10 of touch points, as we refer to it. It's basically questions that have the strongest relationship to your Net Promoter Score, meaning that if we make changes in this, on this top of this list, it will have a big impact on your Net Promoter Score. It's not necessarily that you should do something about it. It could also be that it's very important for you to maintain the level that you are at, because it's important. So you have to combine this list with how are you performing. And normally we would say that, are you at 80 or above, you're doing good. Then it's more about maintaining the level more than improving. So, but in this case, for this club, there is a lot of areas that should be improved. Clearly. So this is for you as a club, basically your priority list if you would like to increase your Net Promoter Score, and thereby, as Nick was saying in the beginning, increase your retention, increase your recruitment of new members, because we know there is a strong relationship between the Net Promoter Score and retention and recruitment, and thereby correlation to revenue. Let me take you to the specific questions, because you can see here, if I go here, this one, the course, the text gets orange, and if I click here, it will take me to the sub page of the course. And here you can see all the specific questions, or its statements actually, that we are having in the survey. So these are the questions that we have asked concerning the course, and it's all the relevant touch points. That's tee boxes, fairways, rough, and so on down here. So like before, I can go here and see, okay, where are we doing fine, where are we doing not so good, and in this case it's okay up here. Then we come to rough. So 65, this club definitely has an issue with the rough, and probably with flow as well. Available tee time 60. So something could suggest that there are too many players in this club, or too many days where the course is closed for some reason, private company days or whatever. So here I can see for all of these touch points, I can do the same as before. I can see how these different groups are evaluating each of these touch points, and I can go and see, okay, I would like to just see my below 10 handicap members. 55 I have, how do they evaluate the course and how do they evaluate compared to other on below 10 handicap players in other clubs. So it's the same. And within the course now, we have this priority list as well. But when I have clicked here at below 10, then your priority list or list of most important touch point is reflecting if we are only looking at this group. So it's also easy to say, if I would like to, for example, make my course more friendly, higher rated for the females, what should I do? Flow here, and a number of available tee times. It could be greens here, bunkers. So also here you can go in and see if we should improve the conditions for specific groups. What would be the best, where would it be the best place to start by improving? You can see this on this list. So we're basically providing a priority list. And of course, there's a lot of issues to this. Could be the greens, it's very expensive to improve. So it could be you'll not take that one if even though it's number one at the list. Okay, time is running, so I'll go back to the front page and just one more customer metric, important customer metric. That's the loyalty we ask here. We ask, do you expect to be a member within the next 2 years? And those who are saying no, in this case, 19% of the members in this club, every 5 members saying no, I do not expect to be a member, compared to 13% in general. We ask them why. And in this case, you can see here, 27% saying too hard to get tee times. That's twice as many as the benchmark. So this club really have an issue, and too many members, 25% compared to 8% on national level. So I would say, without knowing actually which club this is, that they are having too many members, and so the members find it hard to get tee times, and they're probably not actually they utilize their membership only 30% or only, but every third of those saying I will not be here, saying, yeah, I do not utilize my membership enough. Okay, so this was the basic about the results, that you can see results on all service areas. You can go into each service areas and see the specific results. You can put on benchmark, you have the ranking, and you can see how it's evaluated on specific groups, or you can click at specific groups and see how they evaluate everything. And you have always the priority list here. These are the most important questions for the selection you have made over here, or for all if you have made no selection. A few things here, the comment section. You can always see all the comments from the members here, or the guests. And if they allow you to, you will see their contact information. You can contact them. You can export it to Excel, all the contacts. So you will have the opportunity to contact the players based on their comment. We also ask if you have clicked that into the settings, that you would like those to be asked about. Do we want to be a volunteer at the club? Do we want to be a sponsor? And if anybody has said yes, you can export that as well from here to Excel, and you'll have a list of potential volunteers and potential sponsors. Okay, I think one thing you have down here now, I'm at the guest survey, where the calendar function is very important. You can see results based on daily basis. You can see it on a weekly basis. You can see that not that many answers. You can go to monthly view, and you will have your results here now by month, and you can put in here, I would say that supply would be particularly relevant. So now we can see how are we doing this year compared to the same month last year. This is just going right here because the Danish clubs are closed in this period here. You don't see that in Australia. Okay, so that's a calendar function as well. If you need to dig into specific results, and you can go back in time and select whatever September 2017 result that you would like to see. Okay, I think my time is up now, and that was a very short and brief introduction to the results dashboard in Players First. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Jacob. That was great. Some great insights there. And as you can see, it is a very easy platform to use and navigate around. Haven't had any questions come through yet. That's okay if you don't. I'll pose one or just make a comment. Obviously, a new product to Australia. So as we get more clubs on board, you'll see the benchmarking become more available across the platform. Jacob, in relation to the member experience survey, what's the recommended number of members you should send to at a time? Some clubs will have smaller numbers and some up to 1,000 members or plus. Is there a recommendation of how many you should send to at a particular time to get a survey result?
Yeah, we would say that we don't know response rates in Australia yet, but in Europe they're very high for golf compared to other, and then that's because it's people's hobby. And so we often see response rates between 30 to 50%. And we would say you would like to have some results to work with in a dashboard. So are you a club with 200 members or below, you should send everything at one time. 400, you could, 400 members, you could think about, should I split this into 2 random groups and send out 2 times per year? So I would say at least 200. If you have of course, more than 200 members, then you should at least send 200 per time. And you can basically divide it. So if you have 1,000 members, if I was a club with 1,000 members, I would probably split it in 2 or 3 to get some measures during the year. It could be one in the spring, one in the autumn, just to see have I developed on the areas that I wanted to develop. So 200 at least, but you could send, we have many clubs that have more than 1,000 members and then say they send out everything once per year. And we would say also that don't send more than 1 survey per member per year. That would be a maximum.
Yep, no, that's right. That's important. And with the guest experience survey, obviously collecting those email addresses off visitors to the golf club allows you then to upload them and get the immediate feedback by plugging those in and sending them out, whether it's at the end of the week or you're doing it on a daily basis, to get some immediate feedback from the guests who are coming to your course.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, if there's no questions, nothing has popped up in the Q&A, but certainly please contact us if you do have any questions. We will send up a follow-up email. Also with the link, we do have a sign-up form, and we are running an offer at the moment for an introductory offers for Players First, where if you take a 12-month subscription, you'll get 18 months of use from that 12-month subscription. And certainly if you've got any questions, email us at marketing@empowermsl.com, but we will send out some information to you as well. Jacob, thanks for getting up early in Denmark and showing us this wonderful platform to engage the members. And we certainly appreciate everybody's time for jumping on today, and look forward to hearing back from you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.